Today, today I will be talking about one of the most common questions that I get every single day, every week, and I will cover this topic. And I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, we can see it. Omer, are you gonna be giving away some free trials or something
Yes, yes.
today?
I have giveaway at the end of this presentation.
Yeah, guys, don't quit. Wait till the end.
Okay. So again, welcome to our weekly webinars. This week, I will be talking about how you can maximize your profit and FBA fulfillment method and FBM and the strategies to choose which one about book reselling on Amazon. As you know me, I've been selling books since 2015 and I try to answer people's question. I try to help them, help the community. Please don't hesitate to contact me. You can contact me on socials. You can email me. I'll also share my email address at the end of the slide. Okay, let's start.
I'm gonna write the contact numbers like Instagram accounts and the phone numbers on the chat. You can copy and paste them into your phones. Okay, Omer, sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. So I have divided that topic into three subtopics. The first one, understanding FBA versus FBM, each fulfillment method, and advantages and disadvantages of each method, and evaluating which fulfillment method is right one for you. So you probably know the difference between the FBA and FBM. FBA is basically leveraging their facility, their warehouse, and their labor. After you make a sale, they pick, pack, and ship to the customer. They take full responsibility. On FBM, it's more traditional method. You list an item, you store it at your own warehouse, and after you get a sale, you pick, pack, and ship to the customer and handle the customer service, all of that. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of FBA? The first one is it's taking much less space, much less storage comparing to FBM. And it's better margins, it's less responsibility. Most importantly, it's gonna make you win more buy box. It's gonna make you get more share on the buy box rotation. Of course, it has some disadvantages. They are having less control. When you need to remove some inventory, you're going to have to pay some fees to create that removal order. And you can, after you create that removal, you can either return to address or dispose them, but you will be exposed to some fees. And another disadvantage is there are too many metrics to manage. You need to keep up with your sell-through rate, excess inventory percentage, and some other metrics that you need to be aware of and manage. And of course, there are more fees because you are leveraging their labor. They are doing all the fulfillment, so they're taking more fees. I cannot say more fees for each item. It's depending on each item, but most likely you will be exposed to more fees when you make a sale, FBA versus FBM. And it's taking longer to get your money because FBA is a longer process in terms of getting your listings to be active, because you need to list the item, you need to create the shipment, you need to send those in. It's going to take some time during inbound. And then for some of them, according to their internal algorithm, internal metrics, they may have to send some of your inventory to another warehouse to make a better distribution based on the demand on each state. I don't know what other criteria they have to decide which ones to distribute. For this reason, it's going to take a while, especially if you are doing LTL shipments rather than small parcel delivery. It's going to take a little bit longer to be active. And more time can mean more depreciation, more price tags, and also it's a little bit worse in terms of cash flow because you may want to get your money back immediately. And for FBM, advantage is you have more control in your inventory. You can do whatever you want. It's in your warehouse or in your storage unit or in your garage. You can remove anyone that is not moving fast enough. Or you can do more listings, and it's going to be immediately active after you scan the item and list it on Amazon. It's going to take probably 10 to 15 minutes to be active, and then you'll be good to go. And second advantage is the volume discounts. It will not matter on FBA how much volume you have, but for FBM, it's going to get you some volume discounts. For example, there is a program called pre-sorted BPM on USPS. If you hit that 300 minimum requirement per pickup, you're going to save at least $1 per book in terms of shipping label cost. And you can get more discount on envelopes and other office supplies. But it's not valid statement for FBA because no matter how many books you sell, it's either a few or a million, they will take their FBA fees that is listed on their website. You will not get any discount on that. And also less fees on FBM because you are doing the most of the work. That's why it's going to take more fees. You're going to have to pay more fees. And you are getting your money faster because as soon as you list the item, it will be active for shoppers to buy. For this reason, after you make a sale, after you make the listing, people will be able to buy it, and then you can ship it next day. You will get the money a lot sooner. Of course, it has some disadvantages. It's gonna cause you more labor and space cost per book sold until you are too big. What I mean by that is you probably realize that the biggest players in that game are doing mostly MF, merchant fulfilled, because they have so many orders, so many listings that they can reduce their cost per book in terms of labor and space. But if you're not that big, it's going to cost you more labor and more space per book sold. And the second disadvantage is you have more responsibility. And the third one is less buy box eligibility. It will be harder for you to get more buy box share on the listing if you are doing MF. And less STR, less sell-through rate. This is my experience. I don't know if you guys think that this is the opposite, just let me know in the chat. But in my view, FBM has less sell-through rate comparing to FBA. And evaluating which fulfillment method is right for you, you need to consider a few things. First of all, you need to focus on generating more revenue within your limitations. If your limitation is the space you have, don't try to get a warehouse, sign a 3-year contract so that you can list more MF books. Just do what you can do within your limitations. Don't try to hire a couple people, do the fulfillment immediately. Just feel the water and see what you can do from there. And MF requires more commitment. Even if you make a couple sales a day, it's going to require your attention to do the fulfillment, picking, packing, and shipping. You can spend that time doing more sourcing. That way you can generate more revenue. And and as I said, storage space you have. If you don't have big space for MF, big space for MF can get you volume discount, as I said in the earlier slides. And if you don't have big space, you're kind of obligated to do more percentage of your inventory as FBA because you cannot fit so many items if you have such a small space. For example, I also consider myself in that category. I have 6,500 square foot warehouse, and I use most of that space as the fulfillment because I have conveyor sorter, so that I have less than 3,000 square foot that I can allocate for MF shelving. And MF shelving space is always my limitation. That's why I am pushing harder to do more FBA. Even if I want to do more merchant, I cannot do because that shelves always filling up, and then I end up removing some of them from the inventory. And the cash flow struggles. If you are struggling with your cash, I had a conversation with another reseller. He's also doing in bulk and he has a conveyor belt. He says when he does FBA, he's struggling with the cash flow. I don't know if this is the case for you. He prefers mostly MF because he has volume discount. If you don't have volume discount, FBA, of course, is better for you. And also labor in fulfillment. Even though you see that when you look at the scouting app screen, you will probably see you are making more money doing MF, but please consider your labor in fulfillment. If it's taking an hour to fulfill that 5 books, you should also count that in when you are calculating your profit per book. This is one of the example rule when I do scanning. I consider the payout comparisons. My focus is to get the most money out of a single book with the least amount of effort. If I make reasonably more doing MF, I do MF. But if it's fast moving inventory, I don't bother spending that labor and time to do MF. I send that into FBA because it's more scalable for me. And I also adjust my triggers time to time based on the limitations for each fulfillment channel. It's not like set it and forget it kind of business for me, in my view. I always consider my shelving space available for MF, the labor I have. Sometimes I may have a couple employees sick all at the same time. That way I do more FBA because I have limited labor and there is opportunity cost for that labor. When they are not fulfilling MF orders, they can scan more books. More books meaning more revenue. And also FBA capacity limit utilization percentage. What I mean by that is based on some FBA related metrics, Amazon determines the space that they can allocate it for you. If I am using, let's say 90% of that limit, I try to push the brake a little bit for FBA and do more MF. If I'm not using that much of the utilization percentage, I keep sending more FBA. And also, I have considered the minimum requirement for BPM for getting volume discount on shipping label. I try to get that requirement, and since I have limited space for MF shelving, I did not push it harder, and I'm still using USPS media mail. I couldn't get that limit because of course I could get that limit, but that was gonna mean that losing some potential profit when I'm not doing FBA. That's why I changed my mind on that. I'm hardly pushing on FBA. This is an example rule for me. I'm checking first the offer existence, merchant any used, FBA any used, and then I check the payout based on the lowest FBA offer, considering the FBA fees. If it's over $1.75, and then I'm checking the MF payout. And then as you see on the last from the second line, I'm doing a comparison on the payout, and I have a $2 offset here. If I'm making, based on this rule, if I'm making more than $2 doing FBA, I do FBA. I don't remember which sales rank section was that from, but I also consider the difference between those payouts. and also difference between the buyback. If you are doing bulk, you probably work with Sell Back Your Book. If you want to work with Sell Back Your Book, contact me. I can introduce you to that company. Right. And I got some example screenshots for you that I have sold today. As you see here, this book was listed as FBA acceptable, and I have sold it today and 2 days ago for almost $20 when the lowest merchant was selling for $7. If I were doing MF, probably I wouldn't make any money. Probably this was gonna be a reject. But since there is FBA program, I have done this FBA and I made profit on that. On the second one, it's the same. The lowest MF is $8. It's probably $1 payout, but I have made over $8 payout on the second example. And in the third one, as you see on June 18th, this was sold for $141 as FBA good. As you see, you can have way better margins comparing to MF profit. On the fourth one, as you see, it's the same. And this was all sold today. I have more examples. $15 as merchant fulfilled, and I have sold it for $25 today.
It's interesting. It's
Yeah,
it's so close to the new price.
Yeah, almost as new price.
And the FBA new is Amazon itself. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's almost the Amazon's new price. Because the buy box on used and new is different. I wouldn't advise you to price your items so high. In those cases, I probably got the buy box, or I waited a little if there is a offer that I have gap with, and then I got the buy box after they made a sale. So this is all coming down to repricing rules. We can cover that in a different webinar, or we already done this webinar. You can go to our YouTube channel, Bookz Pro Official, to see what criteria, what strategies I apply in terms of pricing my items. And as you see, it's the same. I have better margins on doing FBA. On the last one, as you see here, I have done FBM on 2021 and I have sold it for $11. But the rest three, I have made the sale on the same item, same condition, FBA used, and made a more profit making the sale. And then FBA, Amazon associates picked, packed, and shipped for me. And this doesn't mean that you shouldn't do any merchant fulfilled items. I also do merchant fulfilled, and best method is hybrid for me. I do FBA and merchant fulfilled because there are some items you will come across that you can still make money, but those are long tail items, meaning that you may not sell that book at all, or it can take you 1 year or 2 years that you can make a sale on that item. And each month that you didn't make the sale, you're gonna be exposed on monthly storage fees, long-term storage fees. That's why if the item is long tail, I'm considering those items as merchant fulfilled. As you see here, I have sold also, these are also from today. I have sold this item today for $12, made $5 profit, and the sales rank is 4.2 million. And on this one, it's 4 million, zero sold quantity. And on the last one, I have sold it today for $23 and the sales rank was 6 million. So anything moving slow, you should consider doing that FBM. But when you are considering doing FBM, please note that leaving more margin here is better thing to do, because when there is very low demand, and as you see there are reasonable amount of supply, the price have tendency to go down. So make sure that you are leaving more room for those slow moving inventory, meaning more profit, more target profit. By the way, this is our mobile application. You can contact us or go to iOS or Android. You can download it and use it for free. It's gonna be free until further notice. It's called Bookz Mobile. Ali, could you write that down in the chat so that people can search for?
Sure.
In summary, you first need to figure out your limitations to decide which method is best, because each business is unique. You may have different limitations that I have. Your cash flow situation can be different than mine. Your storage limitation can be different than mine. Maybe you have a very big warehouse that your grandpa built and you don't have a rent. Each business have different limitations. But in summary, FBA is more beginner friendly because they are doing all the fulfillment for you. Also helps getting more margins, as I showed you with the examples. And also FBA is a lot easier to scale. For example, in my Amazon accounts, I have probably closer to 200,000 active listings on FBA. And to do MF, I wouldn't even have half than that to make it available as MF. And giveaway time. So Ali, could you choose one person for free consultation? I appreciate that you attended, spend your valuable time in this webinar, and I want to show my appreciation as giving away free consultation and Bookz Pro additional 14-day free trial. It already has 14-day free trial, but with this coupon you will have additional 2-week free trial. Ali, could you also copy and paste that in the chat so that people can click and register if they want to?
Are we giving away 14 days free trial to everybody in here?
Yes, everybody in here.
Okay, great.
So it's gonna be 30-day free trial.
Okay.
And
so guys, let me write it to the chat.
Sure.
Okay. You can use this code.
And also for the Bookz Pro, there may be some people that haven't heard of it. Bookz Pro is an all-in-one software solutions that we have created, and it's gonna take care of the listing, repricing, inventory manager, mobile scanning application, and advanced press scanning application for bulk sellers. And we're gonna help you with finding the right strategy in terms of repricing rules and the triggers that you need to set up.
Okay. Omer, could you please tell me a number between 1 and 12? Sorry, 13.
Let's say 9.
9. Okay. Yeah, it's Mr. Metin Çetiner. I think he is the one who got the consultation, free consultation.
Okay, Mr. Chetiner, you can reach me at this email address, and I will be more than happy to help you out.
Okay,
we
great.
can just meet and chat about your business.
Great. So guys, from now on, we are going to be answering questions. You can directly ask through chats, or you can raise your hands and I can unmute you. You can ask your questions. Okay. Okay, Omer, I think you can read the text, maybe questions on the chat.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, great. Actually, it's a comment. I can start with the questions. First, I want to say that for scanning books, we have two applications. Let's say two softwares. One of them is mobile scanning application, which is called Bookz, and the other one is sorter. Omer, could you please explain the difference? Because the trigger you showed us today is not from Bookz Mobile. It was from sorter, and many of the guys don't know what it is.
Sure. So on the mobile application, it's most likely for cherry pickers, and it's probably very similar to Scout IQ and Scoutly. So you create triggers based on the target profit, and then the sales rank, sales volume, or sold quantity, and then it's gonna give you some message and some sound that can notify you that this is a possible accept. But on the sorter triggers, the one I referred as advanced press scanning tool, as you saw in the presentation, you can create more conditions if there is MF unused exists, and if there is FBA exists, and if the payout based on this selected offer is going to be that, and if this minus that greater than $2. So this is more flexible, more advanced, a little bit harder to set up, but we of course help you set it up. And it's gonna help you make a better decision if you are doing hybrid method. But if you are doing all FBA, of course, advanced one is better. But if you're just doing cherry picking, you cannot use that advanced tool on your mobile device. So if you are using your computer, the advanced one is better option.
Okay, can we say this as conclusion? For cherry pickers, Bookz Mobile is more suitable. For bulk operations, sorter is more suitable, because in cherry picking, you pick, you scan them and decide whether it's profitable or not. But in bulk operation, you prepay all the books, so you need to use them. You need to send them to different places, and you need to maximize your profit, choosing which way to go. And
yes,
also maybe some of the guys in here don't know what is sell back your book. Could you please also explain that?
sure, yeah. So first of all, each model is different. In cherry picking, you pay upfront for the ones that you are intending to sell. So when you make the purchase, you are intending to sell 100% of it. Exception is you made poor choices. Of course, you can eliminate those later after you make the purchase and return to the store, or this is gonna be a loss for you. And in the bulk operation, you pay also upfront, but you pay for all, and you're gonna scan for each book, and you will have some accept rate, which is varying between 15 to 20% in my model, in my business. And then the rest is gonna be another 10 to 15% is buyback company, and then the rest is gonna be recycle. So you scan first on cherry picking, you buy the ones that you're gonna sell, you only pay for those ones. And in the bulk model, you are paying for all, even if you don't want to sell. And you are picking the ones that you need to sell and selling or sending for free to recycling company, depending how much volume you have to send it to recycling company. And for the SBYB, sell back your book, this is a buyback company that accepts, they have probably over 30% accept rate. They make an offer and they lock in that offer for you, and you will scan on both of the applications, and then you will see if you cannot make any money on selling that on Amazon, you can of course sell that item to sell back your book. Once you have enough to ship it out, you are gonna close the shipment. It's either Gaylord in pallet or in boxes, and then they will schedule a freight. They will come pick them up. They will cover the freight for you, and they will pay you for the ones that you send it in.
And also they don't pay for all the books.
No, they don't pay for all the books, but they have a great network for online and offline. They are doing also B2B. They are buying from the big resellers and they are sending into, let's say, there is a local bookstore in a small town of Ohio, and then they sell it to that bookstore, which you may not have that network. So they're leveraging that special offline network they built over the years, and they are making you monetize on those books.
It's also, I think, the fastest way to get revenue. I mean, for FBA or FBM, you need to wait to
No,
sell it.
I wouldn't say fastest because there is always delay. It's like FBA, as I said, you need to create the shipment, you need to fill that shipment in, and then they're gonna send the freight company. They probably schedule that pickup in the next 1 or 2 business days, but it's gonna take some time during that inbound, during transit, and then it's gonna take another additional time that they're gonna process your books in the warehouse. So there is delay.
Okay,
But
thank you.
you can be sure that there is no price depreciation as they claim. So if they offered you $1 for that book, they're gonna pay $1 no matter when they're gonna receive the book from you.
Great. We have some questions on the chat.
Okay. Eric, I just got his Bookz Pro, and the repriser in itself is awesome. If you don't have it considered, this is not a question, but thank you so much, Eric. I'm glad that it helped you.
Could you please read them aloud, because on recording we don't see messages.
Okay, all right, I'll read it. I just got his Bookz Pro, and the repriser in itself is awesome. Thank you so much. And in Bookz Mobile, what does it mean when there is a star beside a book price? That's a great question. Star means buy box. So we try to make it easier for you to read. If there is a star on the used offer or in the new offer, that means this is the offer that got the buy box. And if it's yellow, that means this is the Amazon offer. Nathan said, how can I activate sorter in my account? So in default, it doesn't come with the sorter application. So this sorter product was only for me because I have the conveyor sorter, and then it turned out to be a great product. We made it available for other users that contacted me in person. So you can contact me, Nathan, and then we can activate. I can give you access to that product. This is still free for further notice. You are welcome to use it, and we can make a meeting and I can help you set up those triggers for you. And Eric says, about how long does it take for SBYB to process the Gaylord once they pick it up? I would say probably 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow, it's a lot.
Sometimes it's 3 weeks, sometimes it's up to 6, 7 weeks. That also depends on the schedule they have in their warehouse. If they have too many shipments coming in, that receiving process may take longer than usual, but I would say probably 4 to 6 weeks. It's almost 40 minutes. We can get one more question before we
okay
wrap.
I would like to ask one more question, then it's all on my side. Some people say that when you choose FBM, merchant fulfilled, there's a high chance for you to get refund for the damaged items, the customer damaged items. But if it's FBA, you cannot, claim a lot. Actually, not non-zero, I think, if it's customer damaged. or any other damage happened in the fulfillment. What do you say about it? Because I know some guy, they only prefer FBM just because of that. They say I send valuable books to FBA and they got lost and I lose a lot of money.
So this is a good question. This is also a little bit related to customer service issue. This is not about claiming. So if you claim that this was damaged by customer, even if it's a very small damage, this may hurt you getting a negative feedback. And if you are getting a negative feedback for those MF fulfilled items, there is a chance that it will never be removed. And if you get that a lot, it's gonna hurt your metrics. For me, if you ask me how you do that, I have a virtual assistant that's taking care of all the customer service emails, and that virtual assistant is communicating with the employee in the warehouse who's taking care of the returns and the refunds. And if it's less than $20, we don't bother claiming damages on the book. We just prefer a better customer service so that we can get it as a positive feedback, less hassle. If it's more than $20, then the virtual assistant asked me if they should initiate the refund or they should accept the return. So if it's getting cheap, of course there's gonna be some people that is trying to abuse the system. I've even seen a case that it was a textbook and that students purchased that textbook and tried to return it after the semester, after 3-4 months. So there's always going to be people like that, and you need to be very kind even if you get those cases, because Amazon is watching us on those conversations. So make sure that you are doing things smoother, even if you are not gonna initiate refunds, even if you are gonna claim it's damaged by customer, just make it smoother. Don't say like, hey, you heard there's no, you damaged that book, there is no refund that I need to initiate. Just make things smoother.
I think we should accept the fact that those kind of scenarios may happen.
Yeah, so Amazon is not perfect. Book resellers is not perfect. There is always gonna be some error margin. I am sure that we have many books that have been sold for $100, and some customers, some bad intended customers are happy that they got money and they got the book. But I don't care that. If I assume that there is always gonna be some small percent of loss, small percent of claims, small percent of returns and refunds, and some percent of our own mistake. If it's our own mistake that we caused that issue, we immediately make the refund to make it better for them.
Okay, thank you. Do you guys have any questions? I think nobody has any questions right now.
Okay, and it's almost 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It was a great one. I am so glad that you came here and listened to me ask your questions. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a great and profitable rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining. And I recorded the meeting and I'm gonna post it on YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, which is Bookz Pro Official. So if you want to watch it later, if you miss any part of the video, you can watch it later on Bookz Pro Official YouTube channel. So thank you again for joining. Have a nice day.
Bye.